A study shows that men spend 7 hours each year hiding in the bathroom. There is a frantic search for a radioactive capsule lost in Australia. And a German woman is accused of killing her look-alike in an attempt to fake her own death. These are the weird stories for Tuesday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the universe. New research shows that men spend 7 hours a year hiding in the bathroom. I think it's more than 7 hours. I spend 7 hours a week hiding in the bathroom. I don't intend to. I go in there with the best of intentions, but I always get sidetracked because, well, I bring my smartphone and then I'm doing the poop and post. You know, you guys do the poop and post? You're posting while you're pooping? I get a lot of satisfaction out of this, though. It's my alone time, and I enjoy it. I don't see anything wrong with it. Let's see what the scientists and researchers are saying about this. Maybe this is dysfunctional. It's probably poor social behavior, according to the experts, but let's learn a little bit about this. The article says, sitting on the toilet is definitely more than that for many people. It is looked at as a getaway of sorts. And let's not even mention how long those toilet visits end up being since the introduction of the smartphone. If you know, you know, and if you don't, then consider yourself lucky. A study in Britain did the utmost to prove this theory. This study was conducted by a British bathroom furnishing company called Pebble Gray. So it's not exactly a scientific institution. This is a bathroom company that's now doing research. It seems they surveyed 1,000 British men and found that they are spending their alone time in the bathroom. About a quarter of those men even called the bathroom their, quote, safe place. Now, within the poll, they asked some questions about the reason men were spending this amount of time in the bathroom, and the most common reason was for peace. Well, life is hectic, so to get a little peace is necessary. In addition to getting some peace, it was said that visiting the toilet was their way of escaping the kids. You get away from the kids. Lock that bathroom door. I can understand, as it seems that for parents, the toilet break is one of the most popular forms of escapism. I'm wondering if all parents do this. I'm not a parent, but I'd imagine many of you probably do. I escape children by getting a vasectomy. So, that's my form of peace. I got built-in peace in my body. Now, this bathroom company, which clearly has some professional researchers on their staff, also surveyed 1,000 women, and they said that very few of them use the bathroom to escape their families, only 20% as compared to 66% of men. So I guess I would ask for women, what is your most common form of escapism when it comes to such thing? Where do you go to get peace, ladies? I'd love to hear from some parents as well about this. Is this legitimate? After all, this study was done by a bathroom furnishing company. So call the show, 646-450-2012. I'd love to hear from some of my weirdo parents. There's radiation that's missing in Western Australia. There's a frantic search for the radiation because it's very dangerous material. The search is continuing for a very tiny radioactive capsule in Western Australia. The state's deputy premier says there needs to be a review into how this capsule disappeared, and they need to find it. An urgent warning remains in place after the caesium-137 capsule, which is only 6 millimeters in diameter and only 8 millimeters long, was reported missing on January 25th. This tiny radioactive source was part of a radiation gauge used commonly to measure radioactivity in oil and gas processing plants. This teeny itsy-bitsy radioactive capsule was lost in transit somewhere along a 1,400-kilometer journey between a Rio Tinto mine in Western Australia and a depot in the suburb of Malaga. The Department of Emergency Services and the Rio Tinto Mining Company was only notified that the capsule was missing when the container was unpacked for inspection. Authorities believe it fell through a hole in the truck where a bolt had been dislodged after a container collapsed in transit due to some vibrations. Well, it sounds like they were using a rickety truck to transport this tiny radioactive capsule. Should have used something that was more safe. This is radiation, after all. Radioactive items shouldn't just be discarded in nature, like it seems this one has just been. We have a deputy, Raja Cook, who said the situation is extremely concerning and a review should be conducted into how it occurred. Yeah, I can tell you right now, you're using a rickety old truck where the bolts aren't in place. They're easily dislodged. You might want to fly these sorts of things to your location. It's a piece of radioactive capsule, after all. I don't know if you can fly these things. I don't know if that's approved in the aviation circles, but I mean, to just drive at 1,400 miles in a rickety truck seems not the way to do it. But what do I know about transporting radioactive capsules? We got a quote from this guy, Cook. He says, well, I understand there was a stringent arrangement in place to protect and track this particular capsule, but the fact that it's missing is very concerning. There's a very dangerous material. We want it to be recovered as soon as possible. Yeah, well, good luck. It's 2 millimeters long or however it is. I don't know how you're going to find this thing along 1,400 kilometers of road. Good luck, buddy. We got a quote from the Radiation Services General Manager, Lauren Steen. Lauren knows what's up. She described the situation as highly unusual. Yeah, that's an understatement. I'm not going to do any more Australian accents because I'm terrible at it, so we'll try something else. Lauren says, well, typically they're transported in highly protective casings that are subject to a certification verification stage. The housing is subjected to rigorous testings for vibrations, heat, and high impact. It's left my head in a bit of a spin, I can tell you that much. If you were to stand 1 meter away, you would be receiving the equivalent of 17 chest x-rays, just letting you know. If you were to hold the source in your hand for a substantial period of time, you would start to notice some radiation burns as well. Oh my, sounds like they just sort of left a ticking time bomb out there somewhere in the outback. The authorities are urging anyone who encounters this capsule, I don't even know how you see it. It's so tiny. But if you happen to encounter the capsule, please stay at least 5 meters away or you'll just totally go up in flames, according to the Department of Fire and Emergency Services. They have a multi-agency incident management team continuing to scour and search the area with some specialized equipment. But they have previously said there was no certainty the capsule would even be found. Well, you just have to wait around for people to grow a third nipple, you know. You just wait for people to start sprouting horns out of their head. You'd be like, oh, you've been around some radiation. Where were you camping? You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. Prosecutors claim that a woman killed her look-alike in order to fake her own death. A 23-year-old German-Iraqi woman sought out a look-alike on Instagram and then murdered her with a friend in order to fake her own death, according to prosecutors. When the blood-covered body of a young woman was found last August in a parked Mercedes in Ingolstadt, southern Germany, reports initially identified the victim as Sharaban K., a Munich-based 23-year-old beautician. Even though some members of Sharaban K's family had identified the body, an autopsy report the next day raised questions over its identity. The victim was eventually named as Khadija O., an Algerian beauty blogger from Heilbronn in the neighboring state of Baden-Württemberg. She is also 23. With long black straight hair, a similar complexion, and heavy makeup, the two women looked strikingly alike, according to the police, leading the German press to refer to this case as the, quote, doppelganger murder. It just so happened that Sharaban K. was detained by Bavarian police on the 19th of August, though authorities did not publicly speculate about a motive until days ago. The victims and accused have been referred to by their first names and an initial, as is customary in the German legal system. Here's a quote from Veronica Grazer of the Ingolstadt State Prosecutor's Office. Yes, investigations have led us to assume that the accused wanted to go into hiding because of a family dispute and to fake her own death to that effect. Turns out Sharaban K contacted several women bearing her resemblance on social media sites under numerous aliases in the week leading up to the murder. She made various promises to these individuals, trying to bring about meetings which were initially unsuccessful, but finally Khadija O agreed to meet her. She was picked up by Shakir K and Sharaban K from her apartment on the day of the murder. In a stretch of woodland between Heilbronn and Ingolstadt, the accused pair are alleged to have made up a pretext for the woman to step outside the vehicle, and they stabbed her to death. It's very sad. Prosecutors allege that the pair then lifted the victim on the back seat of their Mercedes and drove to Ingolstadt. They parked the car in a quiet residential area by the banks of the Danube, where it was discovered by Sharaban K's parents shortly before midnight on the 16th of August. Though investigations were ongoing and further witnesses were still being interviewed, arrest warrants against Shakir K and Sharaban K were issued. The spokesperson for the Ingolstadt prosecutor said the pair face life sentences if convicted. It's a very sad and bizarre murder situation. I hate to cover such morbid incidents, but being that she was trying to kill her doppelganger to fake her own death, it just brings this story into such a weird place that I thought we could talk about it. You got to be out of your mind to think that you can get away with such a thing. I'm constantly baffled by these dumb criminals. It's like we live in a world of DNA and chemistry, and we're able to look at it and compare it. And if you think you can get away with such things, you're just obviously not paying attention, or you're completely misled. It doesn't say what the reason is other than some sort of family dispute that she wanted to fake her own death. There are other ways to fake your own death. Hello, Jim Morrison did it, and Tupac, clearly. You can just disappear. There are ways to do it. The world is big. You can get plastic surgery. You can go take on another name, fake IDs. This exists. Social media, you can create accounts. I mean, there are other ways to do it. I mean, go look for someone who has your same appearance and then strike them down and then drop her off at your parents' front door. Very odd. Very sad. Stupid, unnecessary. I'm thankful in that I don't have to worry about such things in the world because my doppelganger is Brad Pitt, and he's a little bit too busy to stab me. Yay! Take it to the limit one more time. We're taking it to the limit, guys, with weird news. 5 days a week. That's how we do it around here. We are committed. Thank you for spending some time with me in the Weird AF News podcast. Please subscribe or like it. It's pretty easy to do. You could also help me out by leaving a review like some of these wonderful individuals who left reviews on Amazon. I'm about to read some reviews. They are fantastic. I'm so flattered. The first one is from a user called A Person. A Person gave me 5 stars and wrote, Hero for Humanity's podcast. I enjoy ending my day listening to this podcast. Is it irreverent? Yes. Is it hysterical? Also, yes. Also, it's the perfect way to ease your mind about all the terrible news out there that you hear during the day. There's lots of things happening in the world. Just because they are weird doesn't mean they aren't important. Plus, they remind you that not everything is a doom and gloom. Jonesy is consistent in his determination to make sure the world gets a daily dose of the giggles. Thank you. Thank you, A Person. I'm grateful for A Person for writing that tremendous review. Also, someone by the name of Jay Brown wrote, Stick with Jonesy, 5 stars. Okay, honestly, it took me a minute to acclimate to Jonesy. Ooh, that's a very nice word, Jay Brown. Big vocab over. Look at the big vocab on Jay Brown. But I'm glad I got over some of the things that initially did not jive with me. The more you listen to his hilarious take on news stories and the insight to his psyche, the better it gets. Now I look forward to it with my daily news updates. I'm so great. Look at that. I totally convinced Jay Brown to listen to me every day. Be careful what you wish for, Jay Brown. We have Tom C. Tom C. left me a 5-star review as well and wrote, "Get your weird on with Jonesy. Thanks for keeping me laughing during my morning commute each weekday. Your stories and commentary are often educational, sometimes downright bizarre, and at all times weird AF. Thanks, Jonesy, and good luck with your life, man. Good luck with your life, man, Tom C. And thank you for taking the time to write a review." I also got a lovely review from Amanda Foster. She gave me 5 stars and wrote, "Lighthearted, hilarious, must listen. This keeps you informed, keeps you laughing. You'll never be blindsided by a weird news event, and you'll always have something interesting to talk about over the dinner table. His original songs and voices are hilarious and only occasionally objectionable. You'll have to ignore/love him for his weird affinity to 90s R&B. Yes, you will. However, other than that, this is an absolute must-listen. Check it out 5 days a week. This guy's out there working hard to keep us informed and laughing." Well, that's so sweet, Amanda Foster. Thank you so much. And look, I think you should give 90s R&B another listen to, Amanda. It's just a magical land of great love songs. Back when people used to just really sing about love to each other, all about making sweet love. Nowadays, who knows what it is? It's all about, I don't know, bling and drinking lean. I don't know what these kids are singing about now. Back to the love, though, is 90s R&B. That's what it's all about. Knocking the boots, baby. Any fans of H-Town? Anyways, moving on. And a big shout out to Amanda Foster for taking the time to write me that awesome review. Thank you so much. The last one is from GD, initials. 5 stars, super fun. I've been listening for a while now. Florida Fridays are the best. I call my husband Florida Man now. Oh, GD married a Florida man. Ooh, how risky. You better have some good insurance if you're going to marry a Florida man, I have to tell you. I assume GD knows what she's doing, though, or he knows what he's doing. But thank you for taking the time to write that amazing review, all of you. That was so great. It's very helpful. I'm very flattered, and it really made my morning to read these, so thank you so much for doing that. You can always help out by leaving a review on Amazon or Apple iTunes/Apple Podcasts, or giving it some stars on the Spotify. That's another place that people tend to listen to. Anyways, if you leave a review somewhere where I'm probably not going to get it, maybe you use some other app, I may not see it. So just send me the link or do a screenshot and I'll read it and give you a shout out and show you the love that you deserve for taking the time for me in the podcast. I appreciate any time anyone spends. And of course, I appreciate all my listeners as well. Thank you for every day listening to this podcast. It keeps me going. So I thank you. And I will see you tomorrow. If you'd like to call the show, 646-450-2012. My email, funnyjones@gmail.com. And my Instagram is @funnyjones. I just posted a new reel today. It's a really good clip of me doing stand-up about my nut allergy. If you want to check that out, it's pretty funny. @funnyjones. All right. Love you. See you tomorrow.
Hey, Jonesy, it's Michael calling from Iowa City. How you doing? I hope well. I heard in the news I checked into the news after hearing you mention that you woke up in the middle of the night to an earthquake. So I hadn't heard about it in the news, so I checked into it and found out that you had a 4.3 earthquake, I think it was, and then a couple of aftershocks. Man, it sounds like between the earthquakes, the fires, the torrential rains, the mudslides, the floods that you're having out there, God is trying to destroy Southern California. I mean, I know it's the sex, drugs, and rock and roll starting out there in the 60s, plus all the liberals out there. Maybe that's God's intention, is to wipe it off of the map and, as they say, break California off at the San Andreas Fault and drop it into the ocean. That's been the joke for a long time. Just knock it off and get rid of that part of the country. Make Nevada and that area along there the new West Coast. But you guys have really suffered badly out there, and I don't mean to make too much light of it, because I know people have suffered and died, and that's a very sad thing, but we're glad to hear that you've come through it. So I hope you're okay where you're at. I think you're up on the second floor, so you'll be okay as far as flooding is concerned. I imagine you running out in the middle of the night out into the street or something and being safe outdoors, wondering what the heck is going on. But anyway, climbing up off of your inclined bed, as you say, your inclined sleeping position. Anyway, I was thinking about what Hannah said on her call on Friday about people getting together. And I had spoken to my daughter a couple of weeks ago, and she said, that we need to have a gathering. And I was talking to her about the community, and she said, well, you guys need to have a Jonesy Con or a Weird Ape Con. And it's like, yeah, that seems good. We all need to gather in some place, maybe centrally located in Chicago or something like that, and get the group together, and Jonesy could perform, and we could have everyone come and, communicate with each other and have a 2-day gathering or something. So Hannah's talking about just people talking or texting or communicating online, but maybe we need to think about having a convention. What do you think about that, people? Maybe we need to talk about this some more. Anyway, something to think about? I don't know. We'll have to work on that. Until that time, good luck with your life, man.
Well, I'll trade you my machete for your crack pipe. I left mine in a public restroom Saturday night. I'll trade you my machete for your crack pipe. Well, I'm a Florida man and I don't feel right without my crack pipe.
Hey, what's up, Jonesy? It's your favorite weirdo. Just thought you'd like that. Speed it up just like 30 or 40%. Sounds awesome. Do that with some of your songs, man. Sounds great.
Hello, I just wanted to comment on some things. These past stories. This is Hannah from Chicago. First of all, why are people so concerned about the topography of this asteroid and whether or not it has like a magnetic field? Why do people care if it has gravity, I wonder, why that's so important. Why do people want to explore it and see if it contains, other metals? Scientists should be spending money on, maybe cures for cancer or, cures for the peanut allergy, like Jonesy said, and then, like a fish, this fish not only managed to set up the PayPal account under his owner's name, but he bought some games, and the fish changed the owner's avatar and account name. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. How can you do that by just swimming through water? How can sensors enable you to, do those kinds of things, use the Nintendo Switch? It just makes absolutely no sense. And also, why would you want to spend money on swallowing Legos? I mean, we already know what is going to happen to you when you swallow Legos, like Joe said. You're going to gag, you're going to vomit, you're going to have stomach pain, you're going to have throat pain. It's just, there are so many things that money could be spent on. I just don't understand. We could make villages for, we could provide housing for the homeless. Come on, people.